So I am going to go ahead and jump in and get started because we have a lot to cover, and I really want to give you the time with Alexa because she is so incredible. I mean, really, really amazing and incredible. So I'm anxious for you to spend some time with her, but I've got some things that I want to go over with you first. I do have a lot of notes so I don't miss anything. So you're definitely going to see me refer to them. But I just, first of all, want to acknowledge you for being here and taking the time out of your busy day to say yes to a webinar on how to create compelling videos. Even with all the people that I coach, it's a very challenging thing for many people is just committing to do video. And look, my assistant is on this call and she would tell you she's the one that films most of my videos, and she would tell you that I am not the greatest subject either. It's very challenging me for do. I make myself do them, but it's not always that comfortable for me either. But I have to say in getting familiar and starting to do it more often, that's kind of the key to getting to the other side and also releasing how we look. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit, but very, very, very excited about today. I do want to let you know at the end of this call, many of you are already signed up, but I do want you to be aware, I think many of you know by now, that I am launching my new 90-day Jumpstart to Virtual Success program next Wednesday. We have a lot of people signed up for it already because the last year I ran it 4 times at $997, and I'm doing a one-time only just to help the mortgage industry right now at $497. So I'm going to fill you in on that at the very end for those of you that are interested in getting some details of what that program really looks like and what you can expect and what we're going to be covering. It is me teaching live, and I love that. So it'll be this format and very interactive. It's Q&A and very, very live and in person to figure out, how I can help you get to the other side and hopefully land much more strongly on your feet than you are even today. So one of the things that I love teaching is my favorite module is my connection to conversion strategy. And it really teaches you how to lead the first meeting, whether you're on Zoom, whether you're on any sort of video conferencing, or whether you are leading it live. And it gives you the roadmap for the first meeting with any referral partner. I mean, I use realtors as the example, but you can use it with absolutely anybody. And the great thing is you never have to plan for that meeting again. You will have a roadmap. And I can tell you for the people that I coach in my high-level group that have embraced it, it's been really amazing to see their results of what they've created. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little bit. But I do ask that we really try to give Alexa our full attention. I know it's hard, but I want you to get the most out of this. So as much as you can put email aside for a minute and kind of turn your phone off and be here. Don't turn it off if we're with us. We don't want to disconnect you. But and one other warning, I'm going to give you guys a Zoom warning right now because I was leading a mastermind call yesterday, and for the first time, and I have a hardline connection here at my home, I got bumped off the call. Now, fortunately, my assistant was the host, so we didn't end the call and I had to log back in. But we did a test yesterday, so we're telling you right now, if for any reason we get bumped, you just wait 1 minute, we log back in, and then you rejoin in the same, you go right back to the same login information. But I realize now that has to be part, because we are in a new technological world and stuff is going to happen. And I definitely don't want to miss this opportunity. So for those of you that haven't used Zoom, there's a chat feature down below. You can ask questions in chat along the way to Alexa or to myself. She is going to stay to the very end of the call, and she's going to answer questions for you. And she is amazing. So if you have any questions around technology, equipment, video, how-to, stick around and ask your questions, because she is also the most approachable person in the world. So she's a great person to ask questions of. We are going to keep you muted, so we ask that you keep yourself muted and not unmute for the call, just so that everybody can hear appropriately. And let's see, I think that's really all that you need to know in terms of direction regarding Zoom. So I want to share a little bit, because obviously this is a very challenging time, and being in the mortgage industry for 32 years, I've been around the block a little bit, and I've been through some very, very difficult times. Running a branch for many years with my partner in Manhattan Beach, we grew a region to 20 branches. I managed 32 LOs and an office of 65 people with staff. And I just want you to be aware, it was a big deal in 2007, 8, and 9 when we had to lay off half of our staff and close down our small mortgage bank and redefine an entire company, as we knew it, and not knowing day to day whether or not we would ever get to the other side or how long it would last. So it was really about coming up with new ideas, new strategies to hold people together, to give new ideas to how we could create success in a new paradigm. We were a jumbo lending shop with no jumbo product. And so, but you know what? We did okay. And I went on to have 3 of the greatest years of my career after the whole financial implosion. So I'm just here to tell you, that's why I felt so passionate about launching my 90-day program, is because I want to give people tools right now, and at the very least support to get through this in a strong and empowering way. And so you could show up for your referral partners in a strong and empowering way as well, and give you some very, very specific strategies. As one of the top 100 originators in the US for over a decade, I mean, I learned from some of the best, so I cannot take all the credit. It just, success leaves clues. I followed around some of the best people in the industry and did what they did. And my highlight year in my mortgage career was 200 million in personal production with an amazing team of 5 people. So I have been through challenging times, and I can tell you right now it's challenging, but the opportunity in front of you, probably for the next 2 to 3 years, is going to be extraordinary. So I want you to not only be able to maneuver the space that we're in right now virtually, but I really want to help you plan for what's on the other side, because there's a huge opportunity. And I see this so clearly amidst the storm that we're in. So I really want to be there to support you guys through this. So, you know, people ask me all the time, like, what makes you different as a coach? There's a lot of mortgage coaches out there. And I would say what my answer to that is, there's a lot of, I do teach a lot of tactics. 90 Day is very tactical. But also the other thing is, I'm a relationship specialist, and that's how I built my production to the level that I did. And so I kind of become the next coach for a lot of people, where they get me on the other side, where they've learned, they've done the tactical, they've done the strategic, and now they really want to build very deep connected relationships with the referral partners and take their business to a whole new level. So that's kind of my specialty, and the thing that I really, really love to teach. So one of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit today, and I'm going to introduce our beautiful guest in just one second, but you know, there's so much fear around video. Now, some of you on this call, I coach personally, and I know you, and I know you're going to smile. Some of you are probably not going to smile, because you know I'm talking about you. I can see you smile. And you know, the thing is, fear is very real when we go on video. And some of the fears are, I don't know what to say. And I don't know about you, but seriously, is it not true? Like, you can be the smartest person on the phone with your clients, and you're saying all the most brilliant things and educating them each and every day, and someone presses record on a camera and you go blank. Absolutely have no idea what you're going to say, and everything that comes out is blurred. So I understand, because I've lived it firsthand, and practice is really what helps. But honestly, you know, people don't know what technology to use. Alexa's going to talk to you about that today. People get very concerned about how they look, obviously, and we just got to let it go, particularly now. I mean, it's a perfect time to let go, because everybody's had to. We don't have to look perfect, and perfect, no one wants it anymore. You know, nobody really wants perfect. Say they just really want people to show up as who they are, and it makes it much easier to build relationships with realtor partners and connect with people. So Alexa's going to also talk a little bit to the fear that holds us back in video. And then I just want you to envision a little bit. You know, I trained with one of my dearest mentors is Jack Canfield, who wrote all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. And in 2009, while I was raising 3 kids and running a branch and being a top producer, I trained for a year, 3 physical weeks together with 100 trainers from around the world. And some of my greatest lessons came from my time with Jack. And he does a lot with visioning, and really envisioning your success, envisioning you coming across great on video, and think about how this can become a great communication tool. One of my clients, Dan White in Phoenix, I was on the phone with him yesterday, and when he was in my Mortgage Mastermind Elite group, we had one of the participants had shared what she was doing, because I have in my 90-day 10 easy steps to secure your listing agent. So you're continuing to build your relationships with the listing agent as you're working through the loan. But one of the participants said what she's doing is, when she sends the pre-qual letter, the pre-approval letter, she does a quick video. She says, I don't even care if I just finished working out and I'm sweaty and I've got a baseball cap on. I do a quick little video, and I text it to the listing agent to let him know who I am, how great the borrower is, that she's available for questions. And so Dan has implemented this into his business just recently. He said he's killing it, and listing agents love it. So that is the first video tip of the day. So I want you to just really envision your success and realizing you can use video in a very meaningful and impactful way in our business. So very quickly, I just want to share, I was looking for a video expert for my mortgage mastermind elite group, because we do these amazing retreats together here in Manhattan Beach. And I was scrolling on Facebook one day and this face jumped out at me, and it was Alexa, and she was a Udemy course on making impactful videos and compelling videos. And I stopped and I listened to her message, and then I went to her website and I checked her out. I listened to her video and I go, I like this woman. I love her energy. She's amazing. So anyway, I stalked her on Facebook, got a private message to her. We talked. Lo and behold, we have so many of the same friends living in LA. Crazy. And so she has now been a guest at 2 of my retreats, and is incredible. So I do want to read her formal bio because she's got quite an accomplished background, and then we're going to let her just take it away. So she is a very accomplished actress, coach, motivational speaker, and video training expert, and founder of Wish Beads, which we will tell you about, these amazing bracelets. They're pretty incredible. So I do want her to speak to that as well. She's on a quest to give people deepest desires and purpose the power to become reality. Fischer, who describes her work as helping people tap into their greatness, has appeared in many primetime television shows, NCIS, CSI, Numbers, and Bones. She is quite accomplished, and also is a graduate of the Yale School of Drama. She teaches private clients, Fortune 500 companies, philanthropic organizations how to ignite all 1,000 watts of their personal power. She developed wish beads based on this work and her own personal experience. What really sets success in motion is allowing ourselves to clearly define what we want, she says. That tiny moment of action is an absolute game changer that can make wishes, even a bunch of those impossible ones, a reality. She appeared on the Today Show and has helped thousands and thousands of people around the globe with their online courses, podcasts, and video blogs. Welcome, my dear friend.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, if I'm ever having a bad day, I'm gonna call Cindy and just say, how do you feel about me? So sweet. What a pleasure to be here. And thank you everybody for showing up and having a little happy hour video training session with us. How great. I would love to just dive on in, because I had the pleasure of speaking with Cindy and her team and saying, okay, we have a handful of minutes together. What are we going to really tap on that's going to give you very actionable tools where you can just get started making videos? Because as we all know, in this new paradigm, video is here to stay. And in fact, video has become our lifeline to connect with one another. And in some industries, like, you know, Saturday Night Live, for example, they're taking everything and encouraging their cast to produce videos at home. And so if you've been on the fence about creating video, what an incredible time to just take the big leap of faith, have a handful of tools at your disposal so that you can overcome that fear and also, you know, be great on camera. Because as Cindy said, being on camera is not about being professional or having a concept about the way you need to look or what you need to say. It's really about taking action. And my goal today is to just give you 5 really key insights that will take you from that moment of hesitation to say, you know what, I can do this. I can completely do this, because A, in a way, you're doing it right now. You showed up, you're using technology that is here for us to put yourself in front of the camera. And if you have a handful of tips how to really maximize that so you would feel good enough to send a video to somebody, especially as it relates to your business, then that's a huge win. But Cindy did start with the number one thing that actually stops people from taking action, and that's fear. Now, I do a lot of work with people on addressing fear, because fear really is the thing that is blocking us from our dreams, from our goals, from connecting in a bigger and brighter way, and also for feeling good about it in the process. Because, you know, it's an illusion. We make up a story that we don't look good enough or sound good enough, or we don't have the right lighting or something. And all of that is not really true. It's just a story we tell ourselves that dampens our light, that keeps us slightly blocked. So before we go any further, I want to just take a minute for, if you could think of one fear that you have about being on camera, I would love for you to identify it. If you're feeling incredibly brave, go ahead and put it in the chat. Because if you keep this sneaky negative thought in your mind, it has a little bit of power over you. And when you name it, you're really calling out that elephant in the room. Now, at the end of this, Cindy is going to be sending you a little workbook that I created. It's a Confidence on Camera workbook. So you'll have an opportunity to dive deeper in the privacy of your own home to really weed out any of those thoughts, those sneaky negative thoughts. So people are sharing, I don't like the way I look, my boring voice, people won't like me. Another one, I don't like the way I look. Oh, the barbershops are closed. I hear you. The way I sound, the way dressing, forget what I'm going to say. My huge cheeks. Oh, I bet I love your cheeks. Okay. The sound of my voice. So good. All right. Number one, so psyched for you to just get those thoughts out from your mind and onto paper, because then you create space. And in that space is for your permission to change the thought. It's permission for you to take action, for you to breathe and say, is that really real? I don't know if you've ever done the work of Byron Katie, but she's pretty great. But basically her work is about taking an examination of, is this statement real? Is this thought or thought around fear real? So, my boring voice, it may or may not be boring. The truth is that if you take action towards something, then you can work with it. Now, I want to take you back down memory lane for a moment. When you were first a mortgage broker, and it was your first 2 clients, for example, I want you to think about how you felt. And I want you to think about how nervous you were or the thoughts that you had about yourself as a mortgage broker. I would imagine that there was many of the same sneaky thoughts because you were doing something new. You had to get out of your comfort zone. And now, fast forward all this time, can you see, looking backwards, how much you've gained in terms of confidence, the results that you've achieved? This is the same truth as it relates to starting something new, like being on camera. Many people think, well, I just can't do it. I'm not good at it. I'm not going to do it. Nope. But you have to begin somewhere. So I invite you to look at your own history of the things that were hard for you, and just keep yourself open to the possibility that if you have some techniques, if you identify the fear, use some techniques and practice, of course you're going to gain confidence. And it comes with practice. Cindy asked me the other day, oh, you make videos, you make it look so easy. But let me tell you, my friends, I have done thousands of hours of producing video, thousands. And partly, yes, I have training as an actress, but me speaking as myself, sharing my own content, that took practice. So you're seeing me after a decade of consistent work. That's why it's easy. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. So in the workbook, what you're going to see is an opportunity to really identify those negative thoughts. Once you see them, then I invite you to transform them into something that is more positive. In fact, the opposite of it. So if you have the thought, I don't look good on camera, which is just, a negative thought, you can say to yourself, I feel great. I look great on camera. Even if you don't believe it. And this is very important. Even if you don't believe it, there's an energy there. There's a confidence there. So yes, you're going to put on clothes that make you feel confident. You're going to take a moment to put yourself together. You're going to give yourself all the things that buoy you up to make you feel and look as confident as you want. But when that negative thought comes up, switch it to the empowering thought instead. So you're identifying the negative thought, switching it to something positive, and then making the commitment to reinforce that thought. So when you start to make that video, or you jump on a Zoom call, don't even let that thought pop in. Oh, I don't look good on camera. Say, I look great. I look great. I feel great. And that's the energy. Okay. Now, once you've identified your fear, the other thing, now I'm going to look on the side and see if there's anyone who talks about the technology aspect, especially when it relates to, I'm concerned I'm not going to look good on camera. Now, here's where, thank goodness, our phones have become amazing cameras. Same with our computers. We have this technology that means that we do not have to invest necessarily in a high definition camera, things that are too complicated, too overwhelming to learn. You likely have the equipment that you need to get started. So take an assessment of the types of things that you can use to create video. Chances are your phone will do a magnificent job. The other thing, and I don't know if you've ever noticed this, is that when you see people that are creating videos when you're walking around, like they're walking around and it's very jiggly, not a huge fan. They kind of make me a little bit nauseous. So you want to look at things like tripods, or if you've seen ring lights. There's a great ring light. You're going to get a link to it in the handout that I'm sharing. But a ring light is an opportunity to kind of merge a tripod and a circular light that goes around it so you can get nice, even light. And Cindy, if I'm not mistaken, you have 1 or 2 ring lights in your office that you use when you film. Is that correct?
I do. I have 2 now in my home office because it's in a bedroom that's kind of fairly dark. At my work office, I have 1 because I have a lot more light in the room.
Great.
And it's kind of something to play with. They're not expensive, but it does make a huge difference.
Huge, huge difference. So just take a quick look now, okay, wherever you are on the Zoom call, I want you to look down and just notice in the Zoom, in the you know, the people's faces, everyone's faces, when you can see someone, and just notice, do they have enough light on their face? Just notice it. It's not, there's no judgment here. Just notice. And you can see when you have enough light on your face, it allows the eye to focus right here. Instead of the background, instead of being backlit, you want it to be easy for the person who is watching the video to stay focused right on your face. And the rest of it can kind of pop a little bit, like you can see in my background, a window to the outside. But basically the contrast between the darkness behind me and my face allows people to focus on my face and not get distracted, because people have the attention spans of gnats. That's what I found. So you want it to make it really, really easy for them to just focus on your face. You want that to be the most, the easiest thing to notice in the frame. So when we talk about equipment, I'd mentioned a lighting, the ring lights, one of my favorites, you'll have a link. But the second best lighting in the world is daylight, natural daylight. Right now, it's very, very overcast where I am, so I'm not blasted with light, but I have very intentionally placed my laptop in front of a window so that natural filtered light would come down on my face, keeping it nice and bright. But I find that sometimes my laptop is a little cumbersome. Right now, it's not a big deal. I set it up. You should see, it might look professional right now, but you should see the rig that I have going on because I have it on a table that's on a box, and I have a Yeti microphone. I like to use that to increase the, to improve the quality of the sound. It's on a piece of, it's not really Tupperware, but it's a plastic bin. It does not look as professional as you would imagine. But those are some of the tricks that you can do to set up your surroundings so that you have a nice background, that you have nice lighting, and that you have good quality sound. As I'm going to show you, I'm going to lift this up. If I'm working with my desktop, I use the Blue Yeti. It's my favorite. And I also use it
too. What do you know?
Yeah. How about that? The Blue Yeti microphone. And that is something that I use for my podcast recordings as well. It does mean that I use these, but that's okay. So the next little bit that I want to share with you in terms of equipment, and again, you're going to have the link to this, is a new little handy dandy thing that I found, which is a car mount. Now, this is a suction cup that you can mount in your car, but I don't use it in my car. You know why? For me, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, I feel like a jerk making videos in my car. I just do. I just can't get myself to do it. And I think to myself, I watch people do it. I admire them when they do it. It's not for me. Because for whatever reason, in my busy town, even though I live in Los Angeles and everybody is filming themselves everywhere, for me, it's not where I feel free. However, I've been doing Instagram lives every morning for Wish Beads, and I wanted something easy. I wanted it to be effortless. I didn't want to have to set up my laptop and set up a Zoom mic or I just didn't want it. So I go online and I find this, and it's an MPOW. Don't worry, you don't have to write this down, where you're going to get the link. But this mounts right directly onto my window. And then I lock in, and this is all fully adjustable, so I can get just the right angle. You can do it vertical, which is what I normally do for stories, or you can do it horizontal, which I would recommend if you're going to be positioning this on YouTube or any type of standard video player, shoot this way. But it's so easy because I just leave it on my window, And when it's time to go, it just pop it in. And I've already taken the time to establish where I like to film. Now, I cannot stress enough how important this is, because if you've ever made video before and suddenly you get frustrated by the lighting, the background, where am I going to set it up? Those become your excuses to say, screw it. And what you want to do instead, in a very practical way, is have some inexpensive tools to make this as easy as possible for yourself. Number one, you can practice. Just practice with your friends. Don't worry about diving in and making business videos right away, but you're eliminating the obstacles for you to begin. And this is the most important thing. Make it easy for yourself. So little tools like this, so helpful. Literally, I've been doing this for years, and this helps me a ton.
One thing that I forgot to share at the beginning of the call, but Alexa turned me on to this little gadget that we're now getting obsessed with here. So we decided that it would be really fun for those of you that stay on to the end of the call. We're going to give away, we're going to do a drawing for 5 people, and we're going to send you this cool little gadget. Okay. And then for those of you that have already signed up for my 90-day jumpstart, we did a drawing earlier. My assistant did a random drawing, and we've got 5 people we're giving it away to. And then also for the first 5 people on this call that signed up for 90-day jumpstart, you're going to get one automatically as well. So it's going to be fun later, because if you're on this call at the end, we're going to do a drawing for 5 people to get this really cool thing, and we will send it out to you. So thank you for turning us on to that fun thing.
Absolutely. I love tips and tricks. And that was one that I was even actually very, very pleased about. So having those equipment on hand is really key, because it sets you up for success. You have what you need. You don't have to think about it. You can go right to creating the video without thinking about all those extra things. You can also give yourself an opportunity to test and play what makes sense and what looks good. And even if you were to take your phone, and you can do this after the Zoom call, and just hold it in front of you with that front facing mirror, and then just start turning around, you will see when your face becomes dark. You will see when you become backlit. You will be able to see when is there soft, even light around your face. That's where you want to go. And generally speaking, if you can find a window and be able to position it so you have that natural light, and then you can look at the background and say, okay, where can I eliminate any distracting things? Trust me, people are looking at your background. Can we just talk about the fact that like now stars are like showing where they are, and they're singing songs on Facebook, and all of a sudden I saw a video with Meryl Streep, and I was like, where is she? And I want to, like, is she recording in the bathroom? Like, what's happening? I want to know. So when we look at the background, we're giving our viewer an opportunity to get to know us a little bit. And I think that's great. And I don't think we have to pretend, or in some case, and I'll give you a little example right now. So bear with me for a second. I am going to go into my Zoom. I'm going to go into my preferences. So you're seeing where I am right now. Now I'm going to just, let's say I couldn't do it. Darn it. It's not letting me do it. I was going to give you my virtual background. So some of our friends on the Zoom, they've got virtual backgrounds right now. And what that means is that Zoom, you can put up an image, and you can have like a professional image behind you. You can also pretend you're in outer space or on a beach and things like that. And to a certain degree, I think it's a cool, fun feature. My hunch, I see someone just got the Bay Bridge up there. Go you.
John's in Tahiti.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's totally appropriate when we're doing things like Zoom calls and however, I am going to say this. I have a lot of students who want to play around with green screen. This is before using Zoom and whatnot. And to me, I find that a video is an opportunity for you to get to know your viewer, and for them to get to know you. And what I love about Cindy's coaching, and now I've had the privilege of watching her coach some of her Mastermind Elite clients, is that authenticity is the really critical part about relationship building. So if you are considering this idea of like, well, I don't want to necessarily, I'm not saying you have to show the most intimate part of your home or your office or whatever, but if you can find an environment, the background behind you that's real, that is a little bit about you. And maybe you love to surf and there's a surfboard, or maybe you're a musician and there are guitars in the back, or whatever that is for you. I think that that is really an opportunity to be real. And I believe that people really appreciate that, as opposed to being in a professional or green screened environment. I think that that leaves a little bit of a missed opportunity to really connect with somebody. In Cindy's case, she does a beautiful job with her videos. And when you see her background, you know, you get a glimpse of who she is and what matters to her, and pictures of her family or fresh flowers. So play around with what message your background is saying as well, because everything in this little frame, it's telling a story. And so allow that to happen. On a technical note, I'm going to jump ahead just for a moment. I wasn't planning on talking about that, but even positioning yourself in the frame, there are really tricky things that happen, like little weird things that we do, that even if you, by positioning myself, I'm looking into the lens right now, and I've positioned myself more or less eye to eye with the camera. But look what happens if I position my camera like this. Hold on a second, like this. And okay, you can still see me, but suddenly I look like a little kid, like I'm just low in the screen. And what's happening above my head is just sort of wasted space. So even as you play around with the positioning of your camera, you want to think about, okay, well, am I eye to eye? That's a really simple lesson. Just stay eye to eye with the lens. And that way you establish that sense of, I'm meeting my viewer eye to eye, establishing trust. I'm allowing you into my world, and you can see a little bit about me. You know, I live somewhere where there are flowers growing, or, you know, I love how in CNN, you can see everyone, they're always positioned in front of books, lots of books. So, you know, people are making choices about their background because they know people are looking. It matters. So think about that as you find your sweet spot for where you're getting ready to film. So those are some of my tips about the tech that you need to use, but start with what you have. And then finding little simple pieces of equipment can really make a really easy difference. And you'll find it's pretty easy to get started. Now, you may be overwhelmed with the types of videos to create. And again, in your workbook, you're going to have an opportunity to create a brainstorm list. For anybody who has an idea about videos that they're really excited to create for your industry, go ahead and put them in. Go ahead and put them in the chat, and that way, you know, we can learn and get ideas from you. But the other thing is, I would start to get curious about what types of videos do you see other people doing that you like, that you naturally gravitate towards. There are, I think Cindy, again, you make great videos. I see them in Facebook. But I think in this new digital age, when we can't meet face to face, or people are very, you know, at some point we will be able to meet face to face again. But right now, video is an opportunity to maybe go back to old clients and request testimonials, or to interview people that, let's say, had a wonderful mortgage experience with you, or maybe to provide a helpful list of things for people to get ready to prepare all the materials they'll need to get organized for their first mortgage, or what to anticipate when closing. I don't know, all kinds of ideas. So if you have some ideas of the types of videos that you could create for your industry, that would be amazing. Interviews are a fabulous way to get practice on camera. And in fact, in the podcast that I do for Wish Beads, you know, I simply do it over Zoom, just like we're doing right now. Last week, I had the pleasure of interviewing Marielle Hemingway, and we were just Zooming, and she was doing it from, you know, her home in Malibu, and I'm doing it from right here. And you can capture that video, record it, and then I extract the audio, turn it into a podcast. I extract the video and post it on my YouTube channel. So we have this opportunity using technology that literally, my friends, you are using right now, and you can begin leveraging it to say, what would my ideal customers and clients find value in? How can I serve them? How can I help them? And from that question, you can start to outline different videos that might make sense for you. Maybe it's even an about me video. Maybe it's things you didn't know about me video. I think that's a neat opportunity as well.
Hey, Alexa, I want to just jump here for a quick minute. A
Yeah.
couple things. One, one of the things we did at my Mortgage Mastermind Elite Retreat, we took a very brave volunteer and we had him do an on-the-spot video. I had my videographer here, and it was just, why do you do what you do?
Mm-hmm.
And it was the coolest thing in the world. I mean, he just did it cold in my dining room. And then we cleaned it up and edited it down, gave it to him. And of course, he was like, you're going to make me post this on Facebook, aren't you? And I said, yes. He posted on Facebook. He got thousands of views. And this happened within the last year. His why wasn't what most mortgage people would think, but his why, he really had adopted his wife's why is they live in Phoenix, Arizona. They wanted a second home in the Southern California beach community of Laguna Beach, so that their grandkids could play on the beach together. And that was their dream. And so his why became her why, and he was working really hard to try to create that. And he set a 5-year intention when he did that video that he was going to buy a second home. Well, not only did all of his intentions come true, 1 year later, he was at my reunion retreat and announced to the group he closed escrow that day on his home. 12 months later, and they didn't have grandkids, but now 5 months later, they have their first grandchild. So it's just this whole thing of intention, which is kind of the whole wish bead thing, Alexa, is big. And for those of you that are commenting on the screen saying that you've seen some interviewing people, one of my #1 realtor partners, we had this conversation about interviewing restaurant owners. So she latched onto it. She did a formal videographer, but she interviewed a local restaurant here in Manhattan Beach, started getting tons of acclaim. She's now done 3 restaurants. She's focusing on other local businesses, and people are now calling her saying, will you do me? And she's getting referred like crazy. So this whole idea of interviewing local business people is really, really big. So I just want to point that out.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And if you look around the industry and you start to do a little research and just get curious, what are other people doing? And then you can say to yourself, what feels right for you? What might you try? Just give it a try and see what it feels like. This is key. And so keep a list. The temptation is that if you see something that maybe looks so professional or they look so comfortable on camera and you think, well, I couldn't possibly. Again, that goes back to that fear voice. Write it down. What's the fear? Just don't stay stuck in the fear. Just write it down and say, okay, I hear you. I'm a little intimidated by that. Okay. But does it feel good? Could you see yourself doing that even a little bit? Well, then, get out there and try it. Now, when I say try it, I want to take a minute to talk about practicing, because practicing is part of the key to making that jump to saying, okay, I'm going to create a video for my business. I get it. You are very motivated to build your business and use video as a very powerful tool for referrals, for connecting and staying connecting to your clients. But this idea of how do you get comfortable? Okay. Now, we've established that you're some very simple tools, actual, physical tools that you can use to start looking good, setting up the background, dressing, that makes you feel confident. But how do you practice in what I call low stakes situations? Well, the good news is, I bet your calendar is filled with Zoom meetings. And you may say to yourself, well, is Zoom really practicing? And to you, I say, yes, it is. The faster you can show up in Zoom as if you are being recorded and you're sort of showing off your best video self, that is precisely the practice in a low stakes situation that you need to get comfortable. And here's the most important thing that you can do besides dressing or checking lighting, having the equipment that you need. Okay, we covered that. But the next most important thing is looking at the lens. Now, how many people here, you can just do, I think there's even a way to raise your hand in these things, are intimidated by the little lens, that little lens. Yeah, okay. So that lens, all of a sudden, the minute you look in that lens, it's like you're speaking into the void. Nobody's there, just speaking into the void. But your customer, your client, your prospect, they are on the other side of the lens. And this entire Zoom call, I have not been looking at Cindy. Sometimes I look down at other people, but almost 90% of the time, I am looking at the lens on my computer. I'm imagining your voices and what you may be saying, or your head's nodding, or whatever you're doing. But really, my eyes are locked in just to the lens. Now, if they're looking at Cindy, suddenly I'm just slightly disconnected from you. Can you see that? And instead, when I look at the lens, you get the benefit of my eyes. Now, on our devices, it can be very tricky to see that little lens. I can see it pretty well on my laptop, but truthfully, when I start filming with my phone, it's a big black blank blob. And especially on your phone, if you're filming with that front-facing lens, most people are staring at their face. But here's the problem. It looks like you've got this, I know it sounds maybe not like a lazy eye or something. You're talking over here, but we don't get that connection. The connection comes with your eyes. So here's a super, super duper easy, low tech hack that I've taught thousands of people about, called the post-it trick. Now,
I love this trick.
This post-it trick is so simple, but it works so well. Instead of falling into the temptation of looking at your face, which is a great face, by the way, I want you to train your eye to look at this lens. So you get a hole punch. They still make them, trust me. You get a hole punch, and then you dot 2 little eyes above and then a little smiley face below. And where there's a hole in the hole punch, you put it on top of the lens. Now, what happens is that your camera, oops, now you're going to see the family. Here we go. Your camera is going to be able to, you won't be able to see the paper when it's being filmed, but what you'll do is you're going to have that post-it right over the lens. And instead, you're training your eye to focus on the lens instead of your face. Because I would ideally love, unless you have a team, in the beginning, you're really practicing on your own. You're really just getting comfortable, putting that camera up and filming. And you will likely, in order to check your lighting, to check your background, you're going to be filming yourself. So, and you can practice just making videos using you don't even have to go live. You don't have to be on a Zoom call. Just turning your camera on to a video setting. Think of someone who you can actually send a video to. It could be a happy birthday video, could be a hello video, could be I'm thinking of you video, but something like, 1 minute. But put that post-it over the lens and train yourself to look at that little lens and imagine the person that you are speaking to. This is low stakes practice. But if you've taken the time to sort of dress appropriately, check your background, find nice lighting, maybe invest in this little simple tool, then suddenly you have everything that you need. And if you make 5 of these little video messages that are for loved ones, suddenly you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. This is not so bad. But give yourself that opportunity to practice. So even right now, you're on a Zoom call. Maybe you don't have the camera on, or maybe you're doing your dishes and listening. It doesn't matter. But for those of you who are looking right now and you have your camera on, I want you to just look at your lens. Just right now, look at it. And you can still hear me. You can imagine my face. You can imagine Cindy's face. Just look at that lens and you're still actively listening. And if you were speaking right, you'd be actively speaking to somebody. But this is the muscle that you need to exercise. And if you can take advantage of every Zoom call, of every FaceTime message with your family, that's how you get the practice. And we take away that sort of, when I look at that lens, I suddenly don't know what to say. And all you have to do is activate your imagination and imagine really specifically the person you are speaking to. What's in it for them? And when I was first making videos and video courses, I would have sort of like one ideal client in mind, like a person that I was talking to. Now I've been doing this so long that really my students are people who, and then I get to like the core heart of who they are. They are people who know that they are capable of more. They have a message, they have a meaning, they're waiting to share it with the world, and they just need a little bit of tools, techniques, and confidence to get there, to ignite their light. I know this about them. Because I am so clear about my people are so clear when I'm talking to them that they feel like I'm talking just to them. And I am. And Cindy, you have this beautiful way of doing this. You are so authentic.
You're a little
And
too kind, but I really,
no, I'm not. It's true. Because the person that you are in those videos, that's the woman who I met when we had lunch that first time in the marina. It was like when you get to show up and be the same person you are on camera as you are at a lunch with a new friend or on stage or at a networking event, that's when you're in your zone. And that's the person that people want to meet. So be kind to yourself.
one thing that I love about your tip of putting the sticky on the phone, you did that for my mastermind group, and it's so great because I have my, all my clients ultimately commit to do some video. And so they send me video for me to sort of critique and look at it. And they'll send me the most beautiful video, like so well done. And they don't smile like at all. It's the number one thing people don't do. So the reason I love your tip is not only look into the lens, which obviously makes it actually a little easier because you're looking at something versus just a blank camera.
Yeah.
But that reminder to smile, because you can make any video, even if it's not great, look great if you're smiling because you're more approachable. So
Completely.
I mean, that's the number one thing. So I love that tip. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, thank you for reiterating the importance of smiling. Someone just sent me a question yesterday about, you talk about being warm on camera, but what does that mean? And of course, warmth is your smiling, your energy, your enthusiasm. If you find that, you tend to get uptight or a little bit tightly wound when you even think about making video before you sit down to make a video, then listen to great music beforehand. Put yourself in a great mood. Do something that you love doing. That helps your energy and loosens you up. And truthfully, in this age where there is so much video happening and these very easy technology, everybody's doing it from home, there is literally no better time than getting yourself on camera, because we're all forcing ourselves to just be ourselves. And that's what we crave. And ironically, those are the videos that we resonate with. So even if you see somebody being real, we love that, that whether they're scratching their head or sneezing or looking off, thinking of the word. People say how am I going to, what happens if I forget what I want to say? Well, in real life, we don't always know what we're going to say, but you can look away. I can't tell you, when I look at all the videos that I've made, I have so many video blog posts and things like that. I make the craziest faces. Because if you make enough of them, I'm not thinking about what my face is doing or what my hands are doing or anything. And that kind of freedom is actually what people enjoy. They like that. And the fakery is we're just done. We don't have time for it anymore. Life is too precious. The world is too upside down. We want you to show up as you. That's actually what we want. So having fun, making videos, connecting on camera, but just using these simple little tools like looking at the lens, setting up your background, just have some decent lighting. You'll find that you can be yourself pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. You just need to do it.
Oh, that's awesome. And what I just want to share that the guide that she is going to share, we are going to send it out with you'll get a replay of this call. Tomorrow. We're going to be sending her guide out, Confidence on Camera. It's a really great guide. So it's a very generous gift. And I really encourage you to actually, like she's saying, complete it, write down and do this, kind of do the storyboarding and brainstorm. When we were here with my group, we brainstormed things you could talk about, on video. And there's so many things right now. I mean, obviously what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on with forbearance, how the economy is impacting the mortgage industry, what people need to prepare for if they're going to do a loan. First-time home buyers, I think, are going to come out by the droves. So I think, one of my favorite things right now, and I want all of you to take this as a takeaway of something you could talk about, is talk to your clients, your past clients, or how many people are happy in their home environment right now. Because if you've been sequestered and you're not happy and you don't feel comfortable, there's going to be so many people that are going to say, if this happens again, I'm not going to be living here. There's going to be a lot of new opportunities. So to open up that in a video, or are you happy in your home environment? If not, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah, and be prepared.
Video.
And my friend Teresa always says, be prepared, not scared. And I think you're absolutely right, Cindy. It's an incredible time for reflection, especially about our homes. And And in the handout that you're going to be getting, and I know we're a little bit tight on time, but I also give you a little bit of a roadmap on preparing what you want to say, something I call the prep method. It's used in public speaking quite often, but it's a really simple method to give you a roadmap of how to frame the context of what you're saying by making a point, having a very clear point, giving a quick reason why that's important, a few examples, and then reiterating your point. PREP stands for point, reason, example, point. So after you have your list of ideas and topics, then you can go ahead and map out what you want to say. And by keeping it so short, you can give yourself an opportunity to communicate those ideas with something I call thought bubbles instead of worrying about scripts. My friends, nobody has time for scripts. You don't have time to learn a script. You don't want to write it out, but really understand that you are experts in your field. You know what you want to say. So when you think about that in terms of key ideas, really simple ideas that you can help people with, then go ahead and map it out with that prep method and then just practice it. Practice it on your own by making videos, front-facing videos that you can record. You don't have to hit send on them right away, but map out those ideas with the prep method and you'll get that in your handout.
No, and I love that because it's so simple. And that's the biggest thing is what do I say? How do I say it? It made it so simple and concise. It took a minute. She had all of my group actually do this and everybody came up with, and did 1 minute videos. It was amazing what you did with everybody in such short order. That's great. And I love the idea on the chat that you can use Zoom with yourself. You can go record yourself all by yourself in the privacy of your own home and play and practice with this a little bit to see
Absolutely
what you look like, what your sound is like. Get a friend. We do it all the time. I get my assistant, we get other people, I help realtors. I'll tell you, it's a great thing to get into doing video with realtor partners because they're as afraid of video, most of them, not all of them, as we are. And like Bill Hillestad, who's the marketing master that many of you know, and a very dear friend of mine, he says, if you can do something that with a realtor partner or referral partner that makes people fearful, they'll be locked to you for life. So I think it's really great. And Alexa, I cannot thank you enough. I do want people to know where they can find you. Can you speak to Wish Beads just for a quick second here? Because I am
sure.
a fan of her mission project here, these bracelets that we're all wearing.
Oh, absolutely. So, it's funny. I just was starting to read a little bit of the chat before I talk about Wish Beads. Actually, some really generous comments here about some tools that make sharing video really, really easy. One is called bombbomb.com. And I can't remember who posted it up earlier, but it's a way to send video messages. And again, once you sort of integrate some of these tools and techniques, even Vidyard is another one, you can start to get really comfortable because the bar that you can set for those, like just to make them easy, it's pretty low. So once you get comfortable doing a dozen or so of them, you're like, oh, this is great. I don't know what, I talk to people all the time. I just put myself on a quick little video. It's not such a big deal. So thank you, friends, for mentioning that in the chat. Great resources. Do check those out as well. Vidyard and bombbomb.com.
Awesome. And we are going to come back to you too for questions at the end.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
She's
perfect.
to answer your questions. So stick with us just a little
Awesome. Well, as you can tell, I am all about helping people overcome those hesitations and make their goals, wishes, and dreams come true. This idea for Wish Beads came downloaded to me in the shower. I was not intending to make a product, but ultimately I was so surprised by the idea myself that I went out to make it happen, and that I did. But at the essence of it, it is a bracelet. I also have necklaces, but it's essentially a bracelet that has a secret compartment where you write a wish, you roll it up, you put it inside, and you wear it to inspire you to stay focused and take action towards your deepest desires. It's also, I developed a process called Wish Work. I even wrote a book that was published last year called Wish Work. And it's 21 days of really simple exercises to help you start to see life a little bit differently and have the courage to notice the signs, the symbols, the action steps that you can take. Because it doesn't matter if I'm teaching people to be confident on camera or on stage or at networking events, or even to have the confidence to go after your wishes. The magic happens when you realize how powerful you are to take the steps that you need to take to get what you want. And I was just listening to a lecture from Eckhart Tolle yesterday, And he gave this really simple reminder. He said, we do not grow when it's easy. We grow when there is resistance. And if you go to the gym, you do not build muscles because you lift up the easy weights. You build your muscles because you challenge yourself, you sweat, and you work at something that is harder than what you can currently do. And by lifting up those weights, you gain muscle. So right now we have an incredible opportunity in this time of absolute chaos to get quiet and say, wow, how can I show up in this time? And what is my resistance that's here as the best teacher? And Cindy shared at the beginning of the call that, her 3 most successful years followed the biggest economic downturn when everything went, like a snow globe, just went crazy. And so I find that even though we are going to be faced with things that get us out of our comfort zone, it's precisely what we need to grow. And if we can do it with a sense of curiosity and energy and enthusiasm and support, the journey of that growth will be much, much easier.
So wishbeads.com.
Yes, wishbeads.com. I have them for men and women.
They are the best. And I will tell you that I got all of my clients hooked on Wish Beads, and we blew up her order, her order thing when we, at Christmas time with
she did.
Family and friends. I got them from all my boys and the kids. My son actually called me not long ago and said, where do I get those? I want to buy them for all my friends.
Oh, well, you're so great. And we are having a big site-wide sale right now for Mother's Day through Tuesday. So it's a good time to go check it out because it's an automatic discount.
They're so, so special. So stick around for a few minutes. She's going to answer all of your questions. And if you've got other questions, throw them into the chat really quickly. For just a few minutes, well, first of all, Alexa, you're amazing. And such a gift, so incredible, and provided such great information. And suddenly videos don't sound as scary. If you could just follow around and motivate me every day, it would be just awesome. So I appreciate you so much. You really, really
thank you
tremendously. And I know that you've helped everybody on this call. We're getting all kinds of comments in the chat. So that's very, very, very cool. And we'll get that out to you. And we'll put the link to Wish Beads as well into the email that we sent out. So it'll be really easy for you to find her and her amazing products and check her out online as well. She's quite something. I wanted to give you just a little bit of information before we wrap on my 90-day Jumpstart program for those of you that may still be considering it. Our special price of $497 ends tonight at midnight, and it goes up to $697 tomorrow. So if anybody's still interested, we would love to have you. It's a really, really fun thing for me to lead. I love it. And I just, like I said, I get so passionate about it because these are not like make-believe tools. These are the way that I built my business to 200 million. It's the things that I still to this day do. I still do when I go meet with a realtor. I mean, I literally print my own forms, no joke, and take them with me. So they actually really work. The second call, we're going to get into how to build 10 new referral partners. I created the script for this a few years ago when my client rates had ticked up for the first time in a while. All of her clients were refinances, and she didn't have any realtors. She had a few, but she was scared to cold call realtors. So I came up with a warm call script that just kind of turned her world around. And I will tell you that everything I teach is simple. So I want to give you just a couple of things that we're going to cover because people are like, what's in the course? So we're going to start with the mortgage satisfaction assessment. Many of you have already received it, but we're going to go over it briefly just to talk about the 8 different categories of your business and identify what do you need the most help in. Like picking 2 categories and starting, it's really clear when you do the assessment and go, okay, you know what? I need to work on marketing. I'm not doing any marketing, or I need to focus on building new referral partners. I've been totally focused on refis and taking my eye off the ball. So we start there. We talk about the time is money guide, getting very intentional about our business with 5 income generating activities a day. One of my coaching clients last year, been in the business 25 years. He said, if I was doing this every day of my career, I would be rich. It's just that coming back to the reminder, having a little accountability and having the intentionality to make some small shifts in our business. Everything I teach is pretty simple to implement or you won't do it. So that's a big part of this. My connection to conversion training is my absolute probably favorite to teach because it's a little different way of showing up that most people haven't really tried. And it gives you a very serious step-by-step formula of how to conduct the first meeting, how to get the second meeting committed while you're at the first meeting, because it's the second meeting where you really be able to bond with your referral partners. and it gives you a step-by-step what questions to ask in the second meeting. And I can tell you like clockwork, at the end of the second meeting, the standard thing they say is, we need to do this more often, because you become a whole different type of sort of not just trusted advisor from the mortgage perspective, but a coach for them. Like, you become a support system for them, and they need it tremendously right now. So I get very, very, very excited about a couple of the modules that we teach that can help you move the needle very quickly. And look, I know that some of you are inundated beyond right now. Problems without question, industry guidelines are changing, you're inundated with new leads, trying to filter leads. I know it's tough, but we do have to be intentional about how we manage our day, because this industry, you know, it's going to change. It's an ongoing changing market, and we've got to stay connected to our purchase business, because eventually when this shift on refinance goes away, there's going to be a lot of people going, woulda, shoulda, coulda, and I didn't do it. So I really want to help you stay connected. And I just want to let you know, for those of you that sign up today, we're giving you the 7-step to 7-figure mortgage success guide, which I charge $97 for on my site. It's a great guide. It has some of the step-by-step processes to really help take your business to the next level. And I just get super excited. I would love to help you. I promise you that, you know, you're going to get massive value. And this is not value that you just get in this course, but it's value that you can take with you for the rest of your career. You know, put it in a notebook, go back to it when you're slow. I have people telling me all the time, I'm going back to how to build time to referral partners. I'm going back to connection to conversion. Pull it out when you need it. It will help you for a lifetime. And I estimate probably average commission on a loan, it may be higher in lots of parts of the country, maybe $3,500. If you could get 2 more loans a month, seriously, or 2 more referral partners, I mean, it's worth its weight in gold just to give you some added tools. And my big commitment right now, it's not even so much about the business, but I just want to help you stay strong. I want to help you stay empowered. I want to help you connect with people on a deeper level in this virtual world, give you some tools to do it, so you get to the other side of this and hopefully can maintain some of the best years of your career. You know, one of my favorite stories is Tom Couture. He was in my Mortgage Mastermind Elite group 2 years in a row. He'd been in the business 42 years. I was his first coach. And I didn't know you could coach somebody after 40. I didn't even know you could be in the business 42 years. But it was such an amazing story, because he locked into connection to conversion, and he finally just said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to study it. I'm going to implement it. And his very first meeting where he implemented connection to conversion, the realtor said, you're amazing. I want you to come present to my office next week. He got 8 meetings with realtors after 1 meeting of using connection to conversion. He went from 40 million to 60 million last year, the biggest year of his career. So it's just sometimes the small shifts, right? So I want to really quick before we jump into the questions. So if any of you want to sign up, it's just 90jumpstart.com, 90dayjumpstart.com, 90dayjumpstart.com. Many of you are already signed up that are on the call, which we're super excited. We start next Wednesday. All the calls are recorded. You're given access to a membership site for 6 months. All the downloads are there that you have access to. And we're going to have a lot of fun together as well. But real quick, we are going to do a random drawing right now. So we're going to do a couple of different drawings. So really quickly, because my assistant sent me a list. So we picked 5 people earlier today. She randomly picked 5 people. She did a drawing of people that have already signed up for 90 Day prior to today. So, well, prior to this call, let's put it that way. So people that have already won our amazing gadget that Alexa told us about is Cole Strange from Churchill Mortgage from Azusa, California. Congrats, Cole. That'll be on its way to you.
Woohoo!
Lisa Lundgrich, Veritas Funding, Park City, Utah. Lisa, it's going to be on its way. Nancy Kenny from Homebridge in Riverside, California. Very exciting. Michelle Couture, Highlands Residential Mortgage in Falls City, Washington. And Frank, Delgadillo from Homebridge in Glendora, California. Congratulations.
Yay.
So that's going to be fun. That's going to be very fun. Now what we're going to do is you might have to resend it to me, Dana, because I'm not checking the chat here. So she, as you logged in, randomly picked, you had to still be on the call. So I had Dana randomly pick. We did 5 people. Now let's see if I can find it here.
You want me to read them out, Cindy?
Yeah, why don't we just, it'd be easier. We'll have you read them out.
Sure. We've got Gail Arrowwood.
Hey,
Yay!
Let's go.
Kaya Blake,
Awesome. Kaya, that's great. Congratulations.
Rhonda Smith,
Rhonda, yay, how fun.
Tio Fischer,
Tio, I'm so excited. That's awesome.
and Ivan Lance.
Ivan, congrats. That is awesome. And then for people that sign up on this call or up until midnight tonight, the first 5, you get them as well. So we will be shipping those out to you immediately and giving you all kinds of additional tools and tips without question. And as I shared with you for the 90-day jumpstart, I led it last year 4 times for $997. I'm doing this one time for $497 just to help more people. We already have a great group signed up. We have a lot of leaders. We have a lot of branch managers signed up. There's a lot of talent. There's going to be a lot of ideas shared. So it'll be well worth your time. So I would
Cindy,
love, yes.
Sorry, you have a question from Ed Powell, who is asking what the coaching piece looks like. How often and how long are the calls?
Okay, the calls are a very good question. The calls are every 2 weeks. And if you go to 90dayjumpstart.com, it does have a landing page that gives you the details as well. But they're every other Wednesday at 10 a.m. They're all recorded, so you never miss a call if you can't be on the call. They go for 3 months, so it's 6 90-minute calls. Really, the training is 60 minutes, and then we stay on for 30 minutes. I will tell you the third call is Barry Habib. He does a deep dive with my 90-day jumpstart. He will go in depth to what to expect in 2020, what he's predicting now for 2021 based on where we're at today. And he'll give you an entire personal, tour of MBS Highway and ways that you can do it to really convert more leads to close loans right now. So hopefully that answers your question. And please feel free, we're at info@cindiertman.com. If you have any questions for my team, they're on standby to answer any of your questions. And we are super, super, super excited to serve you. So I would love to turn it over to the famous Alexa Fischer and have you field some questions that we have. And Dana, you may want to kind of.
Yes, I actually saw one question. And by the way, this mortgage is not my industry, but I would love for you to be my teacher and coach, Cindy, because you're fantastic. And I do think that energy attracts like energy, and it's such an amazing time to dive in and learn. It's so easy to sort of go, okay, I'm just going to fill up my Netflix queue right now. But really, it's a great time to learn, and it's a great time to connect with other people. And so, I'm ringing endorsement for signing up. Anybody, ringing endorsement.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I had a question from someone who wanted to know about being how close you need to be to the camera, because he wanted to type. So right now, where my frame is, I'm on a small MacBook Air, and I can actually type. But here's the funny thing about making videos, usually on your own. Now, there's something that I call the soap opera pause. Now, I was on a couple soap operas, and it's as cheesy as it sounds. Oh my gosh. Really, being on soap operas is so cheesy. Anyway, there is this crazy moment that they want you to hold forever as they're cutting to commercial. And I was the unfortunate person who had to do that one time. And you feel very awkward. But the soap opera pause is fantastic for making videos. So usually when you're making a video, you're not typing. So you don't really need to be touching the keyboard. You still want to really maintain a nice frame around you. You don't want to be, too close, because that's a little bit weird, right? It feels weird. And you don't want to be so far away that people can't really see you. You basically want to have your face fill most of the frame, but not in somebody's face. Okay. Now, when you're going to be filming, there's a moment when you're going to hit play. So that could be on your phone. You're going to be reaching over, pressing play. And then I want you to get settled and leave a really long pause. This will be critical for editing later. So you give yourself a minute, it's recording, you connect with the lens, you make sure you have warm, positive energy, you begin speaking, you do your thing, and at the end, you hold it. And this is the soap opera pause. You don't have to feel like a jerk. Just smile, keep holding up that energy. Why? Because you want a wonderful, juicy pause to be able to edit afterwards. Because we all have that moment where you're like, you see them ending a thing. So okay, so I'll see you next week on the call. And then you have that and it just immediately ends. You don't have that moment to have it land. The reason why you feel like it lands, I have just made Sandy laugh. I'm glad. But you know, the reason why you want that point to land is that the person watching needs a moment to receive the energy, just like receive it. So their mind can go, great, I know what to do. You, when you're making the video, you're going to feel like a jerk because you're just going to be sitting there and it's like, so great, I'll see you in the next episode. And it's going to be weird, but you're going to be so happy you have that moment simply so you can go back into the video, drag that little bar that's, you know, if you're editing it right in your phone or using really simple editing software like iMovie, and you give yourself space. If you don't, it's going to have that abrupt end, which makes it look a little less professional. So it's a great question. Whoever asked that, I think it was Sean maybe. But give yourself plenty of space. Don't worry about typing because nobody wants to see a video where you're also trying to type. But just give yourself that space to edit. That's really where the edit comes from.
You've got another one from
Okay.
Ivan Lance. He's asking, why do you have two mics and earphones? I see that a lot.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm not such a fan of this business, but what I am a fan of is the sound of a Blue Yeti microphone. And the reason why I like it is because it's important to me to have you hear me as clearly as possible. Now, when you're using, there is a built-in microphone. So experiment with what your laptop, your desktop computer, your phone, explore what it sounds like just on its own, because it may be good enough and you may not want to have these little dongly things happening. The minute you use an external microphone, so you have a connection that is externally plugged in, that's why it's called an external microphone, like a Blue Yeti, Y-E-T-I, you can Google that, is because it increases the quality of the sound, but I no longer can hear you. So it's not actually, I set the input preferences on Zoom to my external microphone. My computer reads that it's a Blue Yeti. I select that instead of the built-in microphone. I hope I'm not going too quickly here. It's a little technical. But in order for me to hear you, I have to run my earphones through the bottom of the Blue Yeti, like that. So the first time I did this, I didn't know that bit of information and I thought it was broken, but that is how it works. So what I do is that when I'm doing my podcasting recording, that's why you see most podcasters, they have big earphones on. I find that cumbersome. I do. I have fancy, expensive earphones. I bought them because I was going to be podcasting, but the truth was these work just fine. I just want to make sure that my levels aren't too loud, that I can hear the other person clearly. And more importantly, it gives me the ability to use a nicer external microphone, better quality sound. When I'm filming every morning on Instagram, so you can see me every morning at wishbeads.official, I used to not do that because I wanted it to look more professional. But then a pandemic happened and I thought, well, how can I show up and serve and talk to my people and share? So every day I talk about the wish work, and I wanted it to be easy because I knew if it wasn't easy, I wouldn't do it. And that's why Googly McGoogle found this guy, great tool, put it up on my window. I pop up, I don't even think about it. It's on my stories. I go live every day at 8:30 in the morning and it disappears after 24 hours. Now, I used to think, because I would make videos all the time for blog posts or courses. And so I was like, I'm not going to make time making videos and then have them disappear. Well, let me tell you, it is wildly liberating to make videos and they're gone in 24 hours. There's not time to worry about what you looked like or what you said or what happened. They're spontaneous, they're fun, they're built that way for a reason. You don't need to be so attached and think that videos are so precious. That's what I am experiencing right now. But that's something that I do every day. And I just use really, really simple equipment. I do not use an external microphone. When I am shooting video, let's say for courses or that are going to be my homepage video, I do use a higher quality camera. I do use a HD camera. I use external microphones and some lights. And we're not talking about doing that just now, but that's just because I've been doing it for years. Good
Great.
question.
Yeah, Jenny Van has a question. She says, I am just curious to know, should all videos go on YouTube channel?
It depends. It depends if you want to build a YouTube channel or not. I'll tell you, I put all of my videos on YouTube, not all of them actually, not even remotely all of them for my Alexa Fischer work, where my confidence and communication coaching is. I put them up there. I put a handful of up so they would be, valuable for people. It made sense for my line of work, people, Googling me and whatever. But then I started creating wish beads and I abandoned. I mean, when I talk about abandoned YouTube, it just didn't exist for me. My energy was focused on my online students and building wish beads. And then lo and behold, I get an email from YouTube that says, "Yay, you just hit 10,000 subscribers." And I'm like, what? Because I haven't done anything, people. And suddenly here I am all these years later, and I'm actually revamping both my Alexa Fischer site, revamping Alexa Fischer. I'm actually cross-referencing them. And so the two can kind of feed off of each other. But there is beauty in time. So if you can think not just where you are now, but where you want to go, I do think that there is something to be said for really focusing on, like, why not build a YouTube channel? Why not build consistency? Why not have some strategy around that? Because I, for one, have benefited tremendously for time, consistency and time. And after 10 years of making online courses, I now have over 85,000 students around the world. And it's not because I'm constantly making new courses. It's the benefit of time. And I don't market them at all. Zero. And this is now turned into, a significant part of what I do. But it's time. So if building a YouTube channel feels overwhelming, you don't have to start that way, but I would be lying to say that it's not a wonderful search engine. It is. And video can come up just like an article. And so it's a great time to be thinking about building a YouTube channel. Why not?
Awesome. Jody is asking, what are your thoughts on a blue coil microphone?
I don't know Blue Coil, but I'm a big fan of reading reviews. I'm also a big fan of return policies. So if you like it and it works, yay you. And if you hate it, return it. I bought all kinds of equipment that I'm like, oh, this stinks. I'm going to return it. But I tend to like to, I read a lot of reviews, and a lot of people I know are always using the Blue Yeti, but a lot of people use other things. So if you like it and it sounds great, great. I'm
Awesome.
not familiar with it.
Gail, I actually liked your question because I have the same thing. Are there not Bluetooth, headphones that would work with Yeti?
Yeti does not, that I'm aware of, doesn't play well with it. This is a hardwired microphone. So again, I have not yet figured out, and I just haven't put any time to it because of our hair. And I think a lot of people are very familiar with seeing little white buds, and they're a little less obnoxious than these. Where if you can get, I don't think that you can have Bluetooth from your laptop or desktop sending the input audio to your ears while the export, I just don't think it's that sophisticated. Right. So, again, to me, this is not, I don't shoot videos this way. I mostly do it for my podcasts that by default I make a video for, because I think it's cool to see people. Do a lot of people watch? I mean, I almost have very few viewers on my Wish Beads YouTube channel. But again, what I've learned from my other YouTube channel, just slowly put the content there. I'm recording them on Zoom. I like to see the people that are speaking. I like to see the environment that they're in. So I go ahead and I do the podcast video version up on YouTube just to have it as a secondary thing, but it's primarily distributed as an audio podcast.
Great. Dana, you see any other questions in here?
A
couple more minutes because we've got a hard stop at 5:30.
Yeah. I believe that's it. I'm not seeing any others.
Yeah. One thing I just wanted to add, and I thought I saw it somewhere, maybe Jennifer mentioned this, that YouTube is a great place to keep information videos for clients. I think that is fabulous. And what I often recommend is that if you have, what are the most commonly asked questions that you get? things that maybe you have prepared responses for or autoresponders for. But those top questions, be it 5 or 10, these make amazing videos. And they're things that you can go back to and direct people to your YouTube channel. You can have playlists that are about like my favorite restaurants in my neighborhood, or, you know, hobbies that I do, or how I spend my Sunday, or things that are like really like, they just get to know you. Now, I have boundaries around this. I am a mom. I have 2 kids. I do not have my kids up on my social media or in my videos. I have one that is so anxious to be like his own little mini YouTuber that he video bombed my Instagram a couple days ago and was goofing around in the backyard when I was live. And, and which was funny, but like, but so, you know, you can create your own boundaries around that. But I think that by having a channel, it's another way to kind of tease people to have them go somewhere. And while you could tease people to go back to Facebook, it's very difficult to have like a Facebook playlist. So YouTube is a powerful search engine. So, you know, why not? YouTube can also be, you can set those videos as unlisted. There's 3 settings on a YouTube video: private, unlisted, and public. If you're a little bit like, I'm not sure about just putting this out there, go ahead and set it to unlisted. It means that anyone with the link can take a peek at it. So you may start there, create a playlist of maybe your top 5 videos, things that you want to send somebody. Maybe it's a thank you video, or I'm excited to work with you, or congratulations, we closed, or whatever that is. Go ahead and set that to unlisted. And then as you're feeling a little more savvy, a little more brave, a little more bold, you can start to build your channel and have designated playlists that have different types of content. You know, my frequently asked questions, getting to know me, you know, what things to expect, you know, I don't know, different type of playlists that work for you. But yeah, YouTube is great.
Awesome.
Thank you. And Ivan, I will, Dina, why don't we make a note when we send the follow-up email tomorrow, because Ivan's asking about a recommendation on a webcam. I do have a favorite webcam.
Great.
Logitech is great. So I'll send you a link to my favorite webcam.
And Ivan, you know, I have to say, you happen to be someone who I can actually see right now. You're on my little Zoom square. And I too felt like my webcam wasn't good enough. It seemed like a little bit soft or whatever. Never underestimate. This is my son, so it looks like a pizza. But never underestimate the power of cleaning your lens. Just like a little lens cleaner. Clean your lens. And you may find that you don't actually need a new webcam. I never could get an external webcam to be great. I tried, trust me, for years. So yes, I see that many of them are sold out now because we live in a Zoom world. But start by just cleaning the area, like burp, 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 just like that, with an appropriate cloth and maybe even a little screen cleaner. But also experiment with lighting. You will be amazed at how different you look if you get proper lighting, because in dim lighting, it can look like it's not very high definition. But if you have great lighting, you may find that it's really, you're fine with what you have, be it on your laptop, your desktop, or your phone.
Well, I know that we have to end this at some point. We'll probably talk to you for another couple of hours, but I just want to thank all of you that took your time to come to the call. It's been so great having such a great audience. Alexa, you are so amazing. You're so generous with your time and your information, and so helpful. We're excited to get information on you out to the group and support you in any way that we can. She's a very, very special friend, and this is a very special gift that she was giving to all of us. I know that this is a very tough time. That's why I like the idea of coming together, supporting one another, empowering one another to not only run our businesses, but to be our best self, because, you know, life can be difficult and we all need support. So I am going to sign off with a cheers to all of you. It is a happy hour.
Cheers.
So I just wanted you all to know how much I appreciate you coming, taking your time, joining this new community. And I look forward to supporting so many of you on 90 Day Jumpstart. We're going to have a lot of fun, and I'm sure we'll do other webinars. So stay tuned for our follow-up emails. You guys have an awesome week. Thank you all. Thanks, Alexa. Thanks, my team.
My pleasure.
Love you guys. Take care.
Good luck, everybody.
Bye.
Sign up.